The silent watcher's Commander Rachel Stone pressed her palm against the cool metal of the observation deck's railing, watching the stars thin out as the exploration vessel Terra's Pride approached the very edge of known space. At 38, she had led more deep space missions than any other captain in the Earth colonial fleet, but nothing had prepared her for what lay beyond the galactic rim. The bridge hummed with quiet efficiency as her crew monitored their approach to coordinates that shouldn't contain anything at all. 3 months ago, Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Array had detected unusual energy patterns emanating from this region. The readings were so faint and irregular that most scientists dismissed them as equipment malfunctions. Rachel had volunteered to investigate because something about those patterns reminded her of a heartbeat. Dr. James Walsh looked up from his science station, his weathered face creased with concentration. The 52-year-old xenoarchaeologist had spent decades studying alien ruins across the galaxy, but the readings they were detecting challenged everything he understood about ancient civilizations. The energy signatures were unlike anything in human databases, yet they followed patterns that suggested deliberate design. "Commander, I'm detecting massive artificial structures ahead," Walsh announced, his voice carefully controlled despite the excitement Rachel could hear beneath the surface. "The energy output is minimal, almost like whatever built this is running on standby power. But the scale is enormous." Engineer Lisa Park turned from her console, her young face bright with curiosity. At 26, she was the youngest member of the crew but had already earned a reputation for solving impossible technical problems. Her instruments were picking up readings that made no sense according to current human understanding of physics. "The structures are using some kind of exotic matter containment system," Park reported. "The energy efficiency is incredible. Whatever technology this is, it's been running continuously for thousands of years without significant power loss." Rachel felt the familiar thrill of discovery mixed with the caution that had kept her alive through 15 years of exploring unknown territories. The Terra's Pride was humanity's most advanced exploration vessel, equipped with the latest scanning technology and defensive systems, but they were venturing into completely uncharted territory. Navigation Officer David Kim studied his displays with growing amazement. The 34-year-old officer had guided ships through asteroid fields and gravitational anomalies across 3 sectors, but the readings on his instruments were beyond his experience. The structures ahead were positioned in what should be empty intergalactic space, hidden from casual observation by some kind of advanced cloaking technology. "Commander, whatever built this chose the location carefully," Kim observed. "We're at the exact gravitational balance point between our galaxy and the nearest dwarf galaxy. It's the perfect spot to observe everything happening in our galactic spiral without being detected." The main view screen flickered as their enhanced sensors penetrated layers of sophisticated camouflage. What they saw left the entire crew speechless. A massive orbital platform stretched across several kilometers of space, its architecture unlike anything in human records. The station appeared to be built in concentric rings, each one rotating slowly around a central hub that pulsed with soft, blue light. "The design is incredibly ancient," Walsh whispered, studying the structural patterns. "But it's also active. This isn't a derelict. Someone or something is still maintaining this facility." Security Chief Marcus Rivera stepped forward, his hand instinctively moving toward his sidearm. The 40-year-old former military officer had fought in 3 colonial conflicts and learned to trust his instincts about potential threats. Something about the station's perfect preservation after apparent millennia in space made him uneasy. "Commander, recommend we maintain safe distance until we know more about the inhabitants," Rivera suggested. "This level of technology suggests capabilities far beyond our own." Rachel nodded, appreciating her security chief's caution, but her explorer's instincts were screaming that this discovery could change everything humanity understood about the galaxy. The station showed no signs of hostility, but it also showed clear evidence of advanced intelligence actively monitoring their approach. Park's console suddenly erupted with incoming data as her scanners penetrated deeper into the station's structure. What she found made her question everything she thought she knew about galactic history. "Commander, I'm detecting massive data storage systems throughout the station. The information capacity is staggering. This thing could contain the complete history of every civilization in the galaxy. Before Rachel could respond, every system on the bridge activated simultaneously. The main view screen displayed a complex pattern of symbols that gradually resolved into recognizable mathematical equations. Someone aboard the station was attempting to establish communication using universal mathematical constants. Walsh watched the display with growing excitement. They're using the same first contact protocols we developed for encountering advanced civilizations, but they're demonstrating mathematical understanding far beyond our current capabilities. The symbols on the screen shifted and reorganized with incredible speed. Within minutes, the alien intelligence had somehow learned enough about human language patterns to begin constructing recognizable words. When the first complete sentence appeared, it sent chills through the entire crew. Human vessel Terra's Pride, your species has been observed for 3,000 Earth years. Your arrival at this location was anticipated. I am Keeper Valdris of the Zephyrian Observation Council. We must speak. Rachel straightened her uniform and stepped forward. This was the moment every explorer dreamed of and feared. First contact with an intelligence that had been watching humanity since before the Roman Empire. This is Commander Rachel Stone of the Earth Colonial Fleet. We come in peace as explorers seeking knowledge. Why have you been watching us? The response came quickly, as if Keeper Valdris had been preparing for this conversation for centuries. Every species that achieves interstellar travel eventually reaches the galactic rim. This is where we determine whether they are ready to join the greater community of intelligence or whether they must be contained to protect others. Rivera's hand tightened on his weapon. Contained? Are you threatening us? Security Chief Rivera, your defensive instincts are noted but unnecessary. We do not threaten, we evaluate. Your species has shown remarkable adaptability and technological progress, but rapid advancement often comes with dangerous instability. Park looked up from her scans with amazement. Commander, they know our names, our ranks, everything about us. Their scanning technology is incredibly advanced. We have observed every human space mission for 3 millennia, Valdris continued. We have watched your species grow from primitive tool users to interstellar explorers in an impossibly short time. This rapid development concerns us. Walsh stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overcoming his caution. What do you mean by the greater community of intelligence? How many other species are there? Dr. Walsh, in this galaxy alone, 47 species have achieved interstellar capability over the past 1,000,000 years. Of these, 23 were deemed ready for galactic citizenship. 18 were contained to prevent them from spreading dangerous ideologies or technologies. 6 were eliminated as threats to galactic stability. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had always assumed they were alone in the galaxy, or at least the first to achieve advanced civilization. The reality was far more complex and dangerous. What determines whether a species is ready? Rachel asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. Each species faces the crucible of choice. You will be presented with scenarios that test not only your technological capabilities but your moral development. How you respond will determine whether humanity joins the galactic community as citizens, remains isolated in your current territory, or faces elimination as a threat. Kim looked up from his navigation console with growing alarm. Commander, I'm detecting multiple vessels approaching our position. They're using some kind of propulsion system I don't recognize. The view screen shifted to show sleek ships emerging from hidden positions around the station. Their design was elegant and clearly built for purposes beyond simple transportation. These were the ships of a civilization that had mastered technologies humanity was only beginning to understand. The test begins now, Valdris announced. Your vessel will be brought aboard our station. Your crew will face challenges designed to reveal the true nature of human character. Be aware that failure means not just your deaths, but the permanent isolation of your entire species. Rachel felt the weight of representing all humanity settling on her shoulders. Every decision she made in the coming hours could determine the future of everyone on Earth and every human colony across the galaxy. We accept your test, she said firmly. But know that humans don't give up easily. Whatever challenges you present, we'll face them together. That attitude, Commander Stone, is precisely why your species requires testing. Your determination could save the galaxy or destroy it. We shall discover which. As the Terra's Pride was drawn into the ancient station's docking bay, Rachel looked at her crew with pride. They were about to face the ultimate test of human character, and she couldn't imagine facing it with anyone else. The crucible of choice, the docking bay of the Zephyrian station, was vast enough to hold a dozen ships the size of Terra's Pride. As the human crew disembarked, they found themselves in a space that seemed to blend technology with art. The walls, curved gracefully upward, covered in patterns that seemed to shift and flow like living circuits. Soft light emanated from no visible source, creating an environment that felt both ancient and impossibly advanced. Keeper Valdris waited for them. In the center of the bay, the Zephyrian stood nearly 8 feet tall, with elongated limbs and features that suggested both reptilian and mammalian ancestry. The being's skin had a crystalline quality that reflected the ambient light, and large, multifaceted eyes that seemed to see through to their very souls. "Welcome aboard Observation Station Nexus Prime," Valdris said, the words somehow appearing directly in their minds, rather than being heard through their ears. "You are the first humans to stand in this place, but you will not be the last to face what awaits you here." Rachel stepped forward, her crew forming a protective formation behind her. Rivera's hand remained near his weapon, while Park's eyes darted around the bay, analyzing every detail of the alien technology surrounding them. Walsh seemed mesmerized by the historical significance of the moment, and Kim was calculating potential escape routes with the practiced eye of a navigator who had seen combat. "Tell us about the other species that were tested here," Rachel requested. "What can we learn from their experiences?" Valdris gestured toward a wall that suddenly became transparent, revealing a vast chamber beyond filled with what appeared to be memorial sculptures. Each sculpture was unique, representing a different alien species in various states of action or repose. The Corvani were brilliant engineers who could reshape matter at the molecular level, Valdris explained as images appeared in the air around them. They failed because they saw other species as raw materials for their experiments. The Nexari possessed incredible telepathic abilities and achieved perfect unity of thought among their people. They failed because they could not accept that diversity of opinion might have value. Park watched in fascination as the images showed civilizations rising and falling, each unique in their achievements and their failures. What about the ones who succeeded? What made them different? The successful species shared certain characteristics. They valued individual life while understanding collective responsibility. They possessed curiosity balanced with wisdom. Most importantly, they could make difficult choices that prioritized the greater good without losing their essential humanity, or the equivalent of humanity in their species. Walsh stepped closer to study the memorial sculptures. Each one told a story of dreams and aspirations cut short by fundamental flaws in character or philosophy. "How do you determine these things? What form does your test take?" The test is unique for each species, designed to reveal their deepest nature under pressure. For humans, we have prepared something special. Valdris led them through corridors that seemed to reshape themselves as they walked. "Your species has shown remarkable creativity and adaptability, but also dangerous tendencies toward conflict and competition." They emerged into a circular chamber dominated by a complex three-dimensional puzzle that hovered in the center of the room. The puzzle appeared to be made of crystalline components that shifted and rotated in patterns too complex to follow with the naked eye. Around the edges of the chamber were viewing screens showing distant star systems and alien worlds. "This is the nexus of infinite possibilities," Valdris announced. "Within this construct are the fates of 1 million sentient beings from 12 different species across the galaxy. Some are known to you, others you have never encountered. The puzzle can be solved, but only through a combination of technical skill, moral wisdom, and sacrifice." Rivera studied the device with suspicion. "What kind of sacrifice?" "To save the million lives trapped within the construct. One member of your crew must remain here permanently, serving as a bridge between human consciousness and the quantum matrix that maintains the prison. They will live, but they will never return to Earth or see their families again. The crew exchanged glances, each seeing the same determination in the other's eyes. Park was the first to speak. "I'll do it. I understand quantum systems better than anyone else here." "No," Walsh countered immediately. "I'm the oldest. I've had my adventures. It should be me." Kim stepped forward. "I'm the navigator. I understand spatial relationships. I'd be most effective at interfacing with the construct." Rivera's voice was firm. "I'm security chief. Protecting others is my job." Rachel felt a surge of pride at her crew's willingness to sacrifice themselves for unknown alien lives, but also recognized this was exactly what the test was designed to reveal. What happens if we refuse? If we decide those lives aren't worth the sacrifice of one of our own? Then those million beings die and humanity is judged to value their own lives above all others. Your species would be contained to your current territory and prevented from expanding further into the galaxy. Park had been studying the construct while the others debated ethics and sacrifice. Her engineer's mind was analyzing the quantum patterns and energy flows that kept the device operational. Suddenly, she looked up with excitement. "Wait, what if there's another way? The construct is incredibly sophisticated, but it's also incredibly inefficient. It's using brute force quantum containment when a more elegant solution might exist." Valdris tilted their elongated head. "Explain your thinking, Engineer Park." "The device is trying to maintain 1,000,000 individual quantum states simultaneously. That requires enormous amounts of energy and a conscious mind to serve as a stabilizing interface. But what if we could create a resonance pattern that allows the trapped consciousnesses to stabilize each other?" Walsh caught on immediately. "A quantum collective consciousness. Instead of one person bridging the gap, we create a system where the trapped beings themselves provide the stabilization through mutual quantum entanglement." Kim was already running calculations on his portable computer. "The navigation principles are similar to plotting courses through overlapping gravitational fields. If we can map the quantum resonance patterns, we might be able to create a self-sustaining liberation matrix." Rivera remained skeptical. "And if this elegant solution doesn't work, we could end up killing everyone trapped in there." Rachel studied the construct, her mind racing through possibilities. This was what human innovation was about. When faced with an impossible choice, they looked for a third option that others had missed. "Valdris, has any other species attempted this approach?" "No, Commander Stone. Every other species has either chosen to sacrifice one of their own or refused to act. Your species' tendency to seek alternative solutions is noted, but innovation alone does not guarantee success." Park was already working, her hands moving across a portable interface she had connected to the ship's computer systems. "I'm detecting harmonic resonances within the construct. There are patterns here that suggest the trapped consciousnesses are already trying to establish connections with each other. The work was intense and dangerous. One miscalculation could destabilize the entire matrix and kill everyone trapped inside. But the human crew worked together with the kind of seamless cooperation that had made their species successful explorers." Park handled the technical analysis. Walsh provided historical context from his studies of alien technologies. Kim calculated spatial relationships. Rivera monitored for security threats, and Rachel coordinated their efforts while making the crucial command decisions. Hours passed as they refined their approach. The resonance pattern had to be precise to the quantum level, taking into account the unique consciousness patterns of 12 different species. It was the most complex problem any of them had ever attempted to solve. Finally, Park looked up with cautious optimism. "I think we have it. The liberation matrix should create a stable quantum collective that allows all the trapped beings to maintain their individual identities while supporting each other's existence." "Execute it," Rachel ordered. The construct began to glow brighter as the new resonance patterns took effect. For a moment, nothing seemed to change. Then slowly, individual points of light began to separate from the main structure. Each light represented a freed consciousness returning to its own body across the galaxy. Valdris watched with what might have been amazement, if such emotions were possible for their species. In 12 million years of testing emerging civilizations, no species has ever achieved this result. You have not only saved the trapped lives without sacrifice, you have created a new form of quantum consciousness technology. The last of the lights faded as the final trapped beings were freed. The construct collapsed harmlessly, its purpose fulfilled in a way its creators had never intended. "What does this mean for humanity?" Rachel asked. "It means your species has demonstrated something unprecedented. Not only do you possess the technical capability for galactic citizenship, you have shown the moral flexibility to find solutions that transcend the apparent limitations of any given situation. You have earned not just acceptance into the galactic community, but a leadership role in shaping its future." Valdris gestured toward the transparent walls, which now showed star maps of the entire galaxy. 47 species have been tested. 23 were accepted as citizens. Today, humanity becomes the first species to be invited as partners in the greater work of galactic civilization. As the Terra's Pride prepared to return to Earth with news that would change human civilization forever, Rachel looked at her crew with profound gratitude. They had faced the ultimate test not just as individuals, but as representatives of the best that humanity could offer. The galaxy was no longer an empty frontier to be explored alone. It was a community waiting to welcome Earth's children as equals and partners in the greatest adventure any species could imagine. Humanity had proven that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe wasn't superior technology or ancient wisdom, but the stubborn human refusal to accept that any problem was truly impossible to solve. The age of human isolation was over. The age of galactic partnership had begun.